So today we want to look at our next application of Markov. The next application of Markov. And this application is the next application of matrices, which is our number 4. And this one is known as Markov analysis. Markov analysis. That's what we want to discuss today. Now, Markov is simply the study. Is simply the study of how events move from one stage to another, or from one point to another with time. Let me first of all block this area which has a reflection. Okay. So when we talk about Markov, I'm saying it is how we move from one point to the other. Now, the point we are in now is called current. And then you are subjected to something we call transition matrix, and you get to a future state. That's what we call the Markov process. It is like right now, you people, you are in section 2. So we are subjecting you to the transition matrix. The transition matrix is the element of change, is the substance that makes us to change. Like now, what I'm teaching you is going to change you from being a section 2 student to being a section 3 student next semester. Now, in this case, when we talk about the states, we have several states that we come across. One is called transient, or what we call open state. Now, this is a state where members are free to join and members are also free to exit. Like now, section 2 is a transient state. You freely came and you can freely exit. We have what we call absorbing state. Now, an absorbing state is a state where members freely join, but once you join, you can never exit. For example, when an account has been paid, it can never be said that it has not been paid. Another case is in marriage. Once you join a marriage, you can never exit. Even if you become separated or you become divorced, you will always remember that you are wife number 3 or husband number 5. So that's an absorbing state. Then we have what we call the closed state. Now, this is a state where no new members can join and the existing members cannot exit. For example, issues to do with gender. If you are born a man like me, forever you remain a man. There cannot be any day that one of these fine days you meet me in the streets as a woman, fully functional woman. It can never happen. If you are born a woman, even if you try to change your hairstyle, your dressing, your voice, and so on, you remain a woman forever. Another case is the issue of tribe, where you are born. If you are born a Kikuyu, if you are born a Luo, if you are born a whoever, you remain there. Even if you try to tell us when in Kenya, Daima, you want to change your names forever, it remains that you come from that tribe. So basically, that is the various states that we have in regard to Markov analysis. Now, when we are doing Markov analysis, there are several assumptions that we have. Number one, you can see that the current state is independent of the past state. Number two, the number of states is finite. You will go through them. Let me not strain so much. My voice today is not very good. So let me just concentrate on what is very, very necessary. You can also see what is the applications of Markov, and that will be fine. So that is what we call the Markovian states or the Markovian process. And I want us now to handle questions. I want us to handle questions so that we can proceed from there. Look at this question that is on the question of June 2003, question 1. In a recent research survey by intelligence consultants on the use of services of auditing firms by various NGOs in Kenya in the year 2002, the findings were as follows. So we are given all that. We are required to determine which audit firms are likely to audit more NGOs in 2003 financial year. In 2003 financial year. So if you are told to answer that question, the solution to that question will be like this. You will get the 2002 multiplied by transition matrix, and that will give you what we call 2003. So that is what you write. 2002, you multiply by the transition matrix, that will give you 2003. Now we need to get the share for 2002. Oh, now what we are given here is the 2001 according to information 5. So then this will follow. We need to write another formula here that 2001 multiplied by transition matrix will give us 2002. So that after we get 2002, we shall now multiply again by the transition matrix to get our answer of 2003. Now, in that case, let's look at 2001. 2001 is, you can see the market share for PM. We have an audit firm called PM. We have another one called BT. We have another one called BA. We have another one called EA. Those are the audit firms. So we are told PM has 0.2%. DT has 0.3, and this one has 0.4, and this one has 0.1. So that is the current status. The 2001, that is how they are. We now come to the transition matrix. The transition matrix. Now, transition matrix is usually drawn like this. On this side, we say from. We are from PM, DT, BA, and EA to PM, DT, BA, and EA. That is the design of a transition matrix. It shows us where we are coming from to where we are going. It shows where we are coming from to where we are going. Now, in this transition matrix, as you noted in your notes, we have a row. Now, a row shows us two things. One, it shows us retentions. And number two, it shows us losses too. Losses too. And then we have a column. Now a column shows us retentions and gains from. Column shows retentions and gains from. We have losses. The other thing that you notice is that the values in a row, they should always sum to 1. They should always sum. This side means to sum. They should always add to 1 when you're dealing with a row. You see, like now, this one is a row, this plus this plus this plus this, it should be equal to 1. So we start now reading and recording. Information 1 says, out of those NGOs which used PM auditors, those which used PM auditors in 2001, 10% switched to DT. So from PM to DT, we have 0.1. That way, from PM to DT, 10% switch to BA. So from PM to BA, 0.1. Then from PM to EA, 0.1. The next information says, out of those which used DT auditors in the same year, 20% switched to BA. So from DT to BA, 0.2. And 10% to EA. So from DT to EA, 0.1. The other one is, out of those which were using BA, only 10% switch to EA. So from BA to EA, only 10. And then we are told, out of those which use EA, 20% switch to PM. So from EA to PM, we have 0.2. And then 10% to DT, 0.1. And 10% to BA, 0.1. That is all. Now, after you are through with recording everything there, you need to confirm what we have said, that the rows must add to. Yes.
A question. That statement says, statement number 4, it finishes that in 2002 financial year. Is it meant to be in this transition matrix or the one that we have to do in 2002?
It is okay. It is okay. It is very, very much okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because we want now to analyze. You see, we are coming from the 2001 going to 2002. So we are told those we switched. Actually, it is in agreement with what the statement says. Number 1, out of the NGOs which used PM auditors in 2001 financial year. You see now in 2001, now we have close to the 2002. So that one is coming in as a close. Now that your information for you inamalizia, the information had started from number 1, inakuja kuishia number 4. So it's much in order. Now I was saying that this must add to 1. But when you look at what we have here, we are not adding to 1. And we only have losses. We have not been given the retentions. So only one slot remains here, which should be 0.7. So that 0.7 is a retention. It is those who are from PM and they remained in PM. That's called retention. When you come to D2, DT, we again have 0.7. But this 0.7, we have two spaces that are vacant. There is this one and this one. When you have two spaces and the question did not tell you about them, then you only give the retention. You only give the retention. So the retention is this DT. So that is the one that we are going to take 0.7, so that here we take that towards 0. If you have more than one spaces, then you only work with the retention. Haya, tukikuja kwa BA, you can see we only have 0.1. So there is a whole 0.9 that is missing. So that 0.9, it can be in any of these three. But because I've said when you have more than one, you only allocate to the retention, then this one you give 0.9, this one is 0, and this one is 0. And similarly, when we come here, this will be 0.6. That is the retention. That is the retention. So in agreeing with that, I will need now to come here and say thus. If I now take this 2001, according to my formula, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and 0.1. Remember, this is a 1/4 matrix, the 1/4 matrix. I come to multiply now this matrix here, 0.7, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Then this is 0, 0.7, 0.2, and 0.1. This is 0, this is 0, this is 0.9, and this is 0.1. 0.2, 0.1, 0.1, and 0.6. 0.6. So now, this one is a 4/4 matrix. It's a 4/4 matrix. And you know, when we are multiplying matrices, this number of columns must agree with this number of rows. Must agree with this number of rows. So if they must agree, I'm going to get what we call 1/4 matrix. 1/4 matrix. And if I'm going to get 1/4 matrix, the answer will be, we said you take this, you multiply by this. So take your calculator, we go. You say 0.2 times 0.7 plus 0.3 times 0 plus 0.4 times 0 plus 0.1 times 0.2. So this one I'm getting 0.16. Then you take this multiplied by this one. So 0.2 multiplied by 0.1 plus 0.3 multiplied by 0.7 plus 0.4 multiplied by 0 plus 0.1 multiplied by 0.1. I'm getting 0.24. 0.24. Then I take this, I multiply by this. That will be 0.2 multiplied by 0.1 plus 0.3 multiplied by 0.2 plus 0.4 multiplied by 0.9 plus 0.1 multiplied by 0.1. I'm getting 0.45. Now this one, you can either multiply as we have done, or you can subtract these 3 from 1. Either will work. You can either multiply or subtract. So if I choose to multiply 0.2 multiplied by 0.1 plus 0.3 multiplied by 0.1 plus 0.4 multiplied by 0.1 plus 0.1 multiplied by 0.6, I'm getting 0.15. 0.15. So that is the share now in the year 2002. So maybe I should have specified here thus for the year 2002. Yeah. For the year 2002, those are the workings. These are the market shares. You can even label the matrix. You tell us this is PM. You tell us this is DT. You tell us this is BA. And you tell us this is EA. So that is for the year 2002. Now the examiner wanted us to get the year 2003. So for the year 2003, you now take the 2002 as per our formula there. So I'll take 0.16, 0.24, 0.45, 0.15. You multiply by the transition matrix, which is 0.7, 0, 0, 0.2. Then we have 0.1, 0.7, 0, 0.1. Then we have 0.1, 0.2, 0.9, 0.1. Then we have 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.6. So once again, multiplying this one, I will get, I will say 0.16 times 0.7 plus 0.15 times 0.2 is 0.142. This is now for PM. Then I say 0.16 times 0.1 plus 0.24 times 0.7 plus 0.15 times 0.1 is 0.199. This is in DT. Then 0.16 times 0.1 plus 0.24 times 0.2 plus 0.45 times 0.9 plus 0.15 times 0.1 is, this is now for BA 0.84, and then for EA, instead of multiplying, I'll just subtract. I'll say 1 minus 0.142, 142 minus 0.199 minus 0.484. I'm getting 0.175. So the last one, we always prefer to subtract. We always prefer to subtract so that we are able to get equal to 1. So those are the shares of the year 20. 0.03. So are we okay with that? So if we are okay, I wish to proceed to the next question. I wish to proceed to the next question. So the next question says, the question of June 2005, question 1B. June 2005, question 1B. As given in your handout, it says, the manufacturer of term soft drinks has been facing stiff competition from other manufacturers and is now considering whether to undertake an advertising campaign or not. If the current branding remains, the transition matrix is as follows. Now, after the campaign, which will cost shillings 20 million, the transition matrix is expected to be, we are given that. The market size is 40 million consumers and profitability per customer is shillings 500. Would you recommend the advertising campaign in the long run? So if you are told to tell us whether you would advise they do the campaign in the long run, you need to know how do we get to advise? What shall we look for? We have covered the topic of decision making, so we know what is it that we shall look for. So we shall advise the decision criteria. The decision criteria will be based on profitability, will be based on profits, will be based on profits. It is profits that we shall look for and decide how to state our advice. Now, how do you think profit will be arrived at? Profits will be arrived at as this is the market share. Market share, you multiply by market size. You multiply by market size, how big the market is. You multiply by profit per customer. Profit per customer. When you multiply by the profit per customer, then you less cost. You less cost. That's how we shall get the profit. Market share times market size times profit per customer minus the cost. Now, in the long run, the long run is also known as equilibrium. Equilibrium. It is also known as steady state. In the long run or the steady state, this is what happens. If you get the current state, you multiply by the transition matrix. You multiply by the transition matrix. The answer you get is the future state, which is the same as the current state. In the long run, it is when someone becomes used, such that any further agent of change, it has no impact. So when someone becomes so used to something and it is no longer affecting them, that's when we say it is at the long run. So we will say let X to be the long run share for the first company. The first company is called Tamu Soft Drinks. For Tamu Soft Drinks. the long run share for terms of the drinks, Y to be the long run share for the competitors. For the competitors. Where X plus Y is supposed to be 1. Because we have said the row must be 1. And if that is true, Y is 1 minus X. We always take this step to ensure that our work is a little bit easier. So before the campaign, now before the campaign, the current state is we have term here and we have others. Now term tumesema imesimamiwa na X. Others, the competitors, imesimamiwa na Y. But badala ya kuleta Y, we normally bring 1 minus X. To come and multiply the transition matrix. The transition matrix, it looks like this. We have term here, we have others. And then we have term here, and we have others, which is 0.85, 0.25, 0.15, and 0.75. Now this one, when we multiply, it should give us the share for term, which is X, and the share for others, which is 1 minus X. You can see this one is the same as this, because I've already told you here that when you multiply the current state by the transition matrix, you get the current states. You get the current states. You get the current states. So on solving, if you multiply the matrices just like we have done with the other one that we had earlier, it will be this row multiplied by this. So we are going to have X multiplied by 0.85. So that will be 0.85X. Then this one minus X multiplied by 0.25. We are going to record 0.25 minus 0.25X. Now that one should give us this answer here. Should give us X. That should give us X there. If you start to put right terms together, we will have 0.85X minus 0.25X minus 1X is equals to minus 0.25. So this X closes to become this one, roughly now inavuka to become this one. So when you put the right terms together again, you say 0.85 minus 0.25 minus 1 is negative 0.4x is equals to negative 0.25. So based on that, x should be negative 0.25. You divide by negative 0.4. which I'm getting 0.625. Getting 0.625. And therefore, y should be 1 minus x, 0.625. So if you subtract, you get 0.375. So profit for Tamu, the market share for Tamu is 0.625. Natumia ile formula tulikuwa tumeandika hapo juu, multiplied by the market size. The market size tumeambiwa it has 40 million customers. And the profit per customer, we have been told it is 5. And before the campaign, there is no cost. Before the campaign, there is no cost. So 0.625 multiplied by 40 multiplied by 5, it is 125. And profit for the others, it will be 0.375 multiplied by 40 multiplied by 5 minus 0. And this gives us what we call 75. So I think that is okay. So if that is okay, we are still proceeding down there and we say after the campaign has been done, after the campaign, we will have term here and others here. This still remains x, and this remains 1 minus x. We multiply by the transition matrix, which we have term here, and we have others. Then we have term and others. So after the campaign, the transition matrix here is 0.9, 0.3, this is 0.1, this is 0.7, 0.1, 0.7. Now you multiply this by, not you multiply, the answer becomes, we have term here, and we have others. This is x, this is 1 minus x. So on solving, we get this multiplied by this, that will be 0.9x. This multiplied by this will be 0.3 minus 0.3x. And we are saying that this should give us this x here. It should give us the x there. So putting items together, I'm going to have 0.9x minus 0.3x minus 1x is equals to minus 0.3. So when I say 0.9 minus 0.3 minus 1, I get again minus 0.4x as minus 0.3. So x will be minus 0.3, you divide by minus 0.4. I'm getting 0.75. I'm getting 0.75. So when I get 0.75, it means that my y will be 1 minus 0.75, and this will be 0.25. So the profit for Tamu, will be the market share, this 0.75, multiplied by the size of the market, which is 40, multiplied by the profit per customer, which is 5. And then the question says that they are making a cost of the cost being incurred is 20 million. So 20. The cost is 20. So this will be 0.75 times 40 times 5 minus 20. That gives us 130. 130. Then profit for others will be 0.25 multiplied by 40 multiplied by 5. But the others have not incurred a cost. They have not run a campaign. So it will be 0.25 times 40 times 5 is 50. So the advice that we are going to offer, if you compare the profit we had earlier, it was 125, and this one is 130. So the question was asking us to tell these guys whether we would recommend the advertising campaign. So we recommend the advertising campaign. We recommend the advertising campaign since profits have increased from 125 to 130. So that's the advice that we shall offer, that the profit has increased from 125 to 130, and therefore we recommend that the company undertakes the campaign. So I think we are okay with that. And if so, I wish to proceed to question number 3. Now, question number 3 is the question that was tested sometimes in December 2020. 2008 as question number 1B. That's question number 1B. So it says that Jana, Leo, and Kesho are consultants in Mombasa and have undertaken a survey about their clients' switching behavior. So the results are, as you can see there, the market, you are required to get the market shares and the client for each firm is at that 1st of December 2017. Now, for you to do this, first of all, add these ones. You add 204 plus 416 plus 531. Uandike hapo chini. Uandike hapo chini. Confirm whether you get this. If you say 204 plus 416 plus 531. Check whether you are getting 1151. And when you go to the year 2007, you do the same. You send 212 plus 417 plus 522. You do the same. You send 212 plus 417 plus 522 is again 1151. Now what you can see, now this one was the share in 2006 and this is the share in 2007. 2007. The total is the same. So that tells you the market remains the same. What happens is that customers shift from one place to the other. The total number of people who buy milk, they remain the same. But you find how wananunua tuzo leo, kesho wako Brookside, the other day wako KCC, the other day wako where. The total number of students who are pursuing CPA more or less remain the same. But you find today some are in Destiny, tomorrow they are in Strathmore, the other day they are in a different college. So the total remains. Now the other thing is, if you want to know the number of clients that you end up with, if you get the start or the opening, you less losses. You add gains to get the end. You can, we are just making some notes before we answer the question. You can make them somewhere. If you want to know, like in 2006, what you began with, and then you less what you lost, you add what you gained, then you will get what is the end. Now, if you are to look at a company like Jana, if you are to follow Jana, they began with 204. They began with 204. And I've told you, or we have been given the losses too. So they lost 15. They lost 15 to Kesho. And they also lost 9, as you can see. That is about the rules. If you look at their column, they gained 12. They gained 20. If you add, check whether this takes you to 212. If you say 204 minus what was lost, 15, 9, then you add what we gained, 12 and 20. It leaves us at 212. If you come and do the same thing with Leo, You will say they began the year with 416. They lost 12. They lost 7. They lost 12, they lost 7. But if you go to their column, they gained 15, they gained 5. This should give you 417. And similarly, if you come to Kesho, they will have, or they began with 5.1. They lost 20, they lost 5, then they gained 9, they gained 7, to end up with 522. End up with 522. So I hope you have understood that table. If you want, these ones have been given in whole numbers. If you want to convert them to ratios, you just take each year, you divide by the total. Like if I take 204, I divide by 1151. 204, you divide by 1151. It is 0.18 or 0.17. That way. Then I take 416. I divide by 1151. I am getting 0.36. And because there is rounding, and I have told you they must always add to 1, they will be arranged in a row. You get the last one as 1 minus 0.18 minus 0.36. So this becomes 0.46. So you can either use these ratios this way, or you can use these totals for the current states. And I'm saying you divide each by the total. The same thing can be done here for the 2007. And that should also tell you that if you have been given the ratios and you know the total, and you want to know exactly how many customers are in which company, you simply multiply these ratios by this total. If you multiply this 0.18 by this, it should take you back here. Just like what we were saying the other day in regard to input output.
Sorry, Mwalimu, a question. Where have you gotten the ratios, the 0.18, 0.36?
I'm saying you take these, like these 204, you divide by this one, 1151.
Okay. So,
yeah, so each one of them. Okay. So if that is understood, let us now, those who are not muted, please mute unless you want to talk. So having said that, let us now try to answer the question. Brenda, mute yourself. Brenda, mute yourself. I don't want to mute everyone so that in case someone wants to speak, they're not constrained. So now, I hope Brenda is in class. Brenda, are you in class? Good. Let me get a way of having her respond. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is to get the. Now the question is asking, we get the market shares and client for each firm is at that 1st December 2017. That 2017 should be 2008. So change 2017 to 2008. Okay. First of all, we need to make what we call the transition matrix. The transition matrix. The transition matrix, which will be saying from Jana, and then here to Jana. And first of all, these spaces that are left here, the retentions, they are representing retentions. Like for Jana, it will be 2004, they lost 15, they lost 9. So if you take 2004, you divide by 15, not you divide. 2004, you raise 15 and you raise 9. You must have obtained 180. So this is going to be 180. You divide by 204. So if I divide by 204, I'm getting 0.88. I want us to work with 2 decimals. Then when I come to Leo here, I will have 15, which is divided by 204, the value that we began with. So 15 divided by 204, I'm getting 0.07. And then when I come to Kesho, I have 9. So 9 out of 204. It is advisable because of the error that we make in the round here. Here, mwisho, you get it as 1 minus these 2 others. So if you do that, that would be 0.05. So that you are sure that this plus this plus this, they got 1. That is about Jana. Let's come to Leo. Leo, here it has 12, and it began with 416. So remember, these are probabilities. So 12, you divide by 416. It is 0.03. 0.03. Then I need to get the retention. The retention, tumesema, it will be this 416, you minus 12, you minus 7. So 416 minus 12 minus 7 is 397. So this 397, you divide by 416. You divide by 416, you get 0.95. Alafu sasa ingine 7, when you divide by 416, it is 0.02. 0.02. And then I come to Kesho. Kesho, I have 20 out of the began with 5 that 1. So that will be 20. You divide by 5 that 1. To 2 decimals, you should give me 0.04. When I come here, this is 5. You divide by 5 that 1. 5, you divide by 5 that 1. So this one to 2 decimals is 0.01. And therefore the retention should be 5 that 1 minus 20 minus 5. 5 that 1 minus 20 minus 5 is 5 or 6. So 5 or 6, you divide by 5, that's 1. Obviously, when we are subtracting, this one now will give us 0.95. So that is how you create the transition matrix. In case you are given that kind of information, the transition matrix is computed like that. When I want to get the 2007 share, the 2007 shares, as I have already told you earlier, for Jana, you can see they have 212. So it is 212 you divide by 1151. Ile toto tulikuwa tumepata. So this is 212 divided by 1151. It is giving me 0.18. Then I go to Leo. Leo iko na 417. You divide by 1151. 417 divided by 1151. This is 0.36. Then we have Kesho. Kesho is, yes.
When you're dividing 5 divide by 531, I haven't gotten 0.01.
This one, to 2 decimals.
Yes.
You are getting what? If you round to 2 decimals.
Oh, so you've just rounded off the 9 to become a 1. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so this one, because of the rounding error that we have made, we will get it from 1, as in 1 minus 0.18 minus 0.36. So this is 0.46. So that is the share for 2007. For 2007. So when the examiner is asking us to get the share for 2008, so I'll just come up here and say, for 2008 share, for 2008 shares, want to block this. I hope you are finished writing. I will need to get 2007, which is 0.18, 0.36, 0.46. These ones, you multiply by the transition matrix. This one, 0.88, 0.03, and 0.04. 0.07, 0.95, 0.01, 0.05, 0.02, 0.95. So we multiply. Now when we multiply, you take the calc, unachukua hizi una multiply na hizi. So we can go 0.18 times 0.88 plus 0.36 times 0.03 plus 0.46 times 0.04. If I don't round, then I will work with 0.1876. I have this one, you multiply by this. So 0.18 times 0.07 plus 0.36 times 0.95 plus 0.46 times 0.01. I'm getting 0.3592. And because we must ensure that they add to 1, I've kept on saying, you get 1, you minus the first 2, 0.1876. And this give me 0.4532. So those are the shares of 2008. Those are the shares of 2008. Can remember that this is for Jana, this is Jana, this is Reo, and this is Kesh. Okay. So having said that, I seek to proceed. The question says, the steady state. So the steady state. If you are told to get the steady state, you will say let X to represent Jana, Y to represent Leo, and Z to represent Kesho, where X plus Y plus Z should be equal to 1, and Z should be equal to 1 minus X minus Y. So I've told you this one is done to ensure that we just end up with one equation, with a fewer equation, one less. If you don't put this way, you will have to solve 3 equations because you can see we have X, Y, and Z. But when we substitute Z, you just solve 2 equations. So it makes our work easier. So if that is true, then if I come here and I say this is Jana, Jana is represented by X. Jana is presented by X. Then this is Leo, which is represented by Y. And this is Kesho, which is represented by Z. But instead of Z, I will now bring 1 minus X minus Y. Multiplied by the transition matrix. Transition matrix, I have Jana here, I have Leo, and I have Kesho. I have Jana. Jana in the transition matrix has 0.88, 0.03, and 0.04. Then I have Leo. Leo has 0.07, 0.95, Okay, so I was saying this is 0.01. Then we have kesho, which is 0.05, 0.02, 0.95. Now, when you multiply, you should get the same answer for Jana here being equal to X, Leo being equal to Y, and kesho being equal to 1 minus X minus Y. That way. So with that now, we start solving. So on solving, the usual way on solving, this multiplied by this, I'm going to record 0.88x. This multiplied by this, that's 0.03y. This multiplied by this is plus 0.04 minus 0.04x minus 0.04y. This one, when you multiply by this, they should give us x. They should give us x. You multiply this by this. Then you make x, or rather you put right terms together. So this is 0.88x minus 0.04x minus 1x plus 0.03y minus 0.04y should be equal to minus 0.04. When you put the right terms together, x is pamoja, the y's, then haina inaruka this other side, and the raj there as negative. So on using my calc, I get 0.88 minus 0.04 minus 1 is negative 0.16x. Then this other one, I say 0.03 minus 0.04 is negative 0.01y. should be equal to minus 0.04. That is question number 1. Question number 1. We do the same. Remember, when you have two unknowns, you require two equations. So this and this. So it's going to be 0.07x plus 0.95y. This and this is plus 0.01 minus 0.01x minus 0.01y. They should now give us the second answer here, y. Sasa, if you put right terms together, I'm going to have 0.07x minus 0.01x, then this y plus 0.95y minus 0.01y minus 1y is equal to minus 0.01. So this one will obviously be 0.06x minus e 0.95 minus 0.01 minus 1 is minus 0.06 is equal to minus 0.01. That is equation number 2. So we have two equations. And because we are still under the topic of matrices, I want to solve this using matrix method. So using matrix algebra to solve. You remember we said we create the equations. You take these coefficients. So I'm going to have minus 0.16. Half with 0.06, these two, this and this. Then we minus 0.01 and minus 0.06. You multiply by x here and y. Should be equal to this one minus 0.04 minus 0.01. So I hope that is okay. So on solving, this one tukasema itabaki x, y to be equal to this matrix ingia hapa minus 0.16, 0.06, alafu minus 0.01, minus 0.06, lakini tukasema inaingia as inverse to come and multiply minus 0.04 minus 0.01 comes to multiply that way. Hope you still remember how we solve equations using matrices method. So in that now, for us to get the determinant, the inverse, we get the determinant. So the determinant, the major diagonal here, minus 0.16 times minus 0.06. We minus this one, 0.06 multiplied by minus 0.01. take your calc and tell me what will be the answer. I'm getting 0.0102. That's what I'm getting. I am new matrix. New matrix. You remember we said we change positions of the major diagonal. So this becomes minus 0.06. This becomes minus 0.16. Then you change signs of the minor. So this becomes minus 0.06. And this becomes positive 0.01. When you change positions, these ones, zinakuja hapa zinabadilika, and you change the signs, this and this. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. So in that, I still proceed and now say that my X here and Y here should be 1 out of the determinant, 0.0102 multiplied by the new matrix minus 0.06 minus 0.06, 0.01 minus 0.16. We are multiplying this one of negative 0.04 and negative 0.01. That way. So proceeding on, I will come here and say this is equal to 1 out of 0.0102. We multiply, hii itakuwa minus 0.06 multiplied by minus 0.04 plus 0.01 multiplied by minus 0.01. Then minus 0.06 multiplied by minus 0.04 plus minus 0.16 multiplied by minus 0.01. So this proceeds to become x, y is equal to 1 out of 0.0102. When you take your calc, you put these figures in the calc, utasema minus 0.06 times minus 0.04 plus 0.01 times minus 0.01. I'm getting 0.0023. And because I know I will have to divide, so before I delete that, I come here and say this one divided by this. So I divide by 0.0102 and I get 0.22549. Can use 5 decimals. Then I take this one. Minus 0.06 times minus 0.04 plus minus 0.16 times minus 0.01. I'm getting 0.004. So when I divide by 0.0102, I'm getting 0.93216. 216. And hence, X will be 0.22549. Y will be 0.39216. And Z will be 1 minus 0.22549 minus 0.39216. So 1 minus 0.22549 minus 0.39216. And I'm getting 0.38235. So those are the long run shares. So as I have told you, in terms of clients, Jana, which was represented by X, it is going to have 0.22549 multiplied by 1151. What it equal to now? Leo, which was represented by Y, will have 0.39216 multiplied by 1151. Kesho, which was represented by Z, will have 0.38235 multiplied by 1151. So if I take 0.22549 times 1151, if we round, because these are clients, that would be 260. Then 0.39216 times 1151, this is 451. Now the last one, what we shall do, you subtract these two from this because they must go back to 1151. So I'll say 1151 minus 260 minus 451 is 440. So that is how the question should have been handled. Are we okay? Can you type yes? I see. You're not okay, you ask. So are we okay? Okay, good. Let's look at December. Now on your own, you shall look at this one that coming back here, the regression analysis. It is not very prominent in your syllabus, so I don't want to spend time on it. Just try to look at what is presented there, so that we are through with that area. So for the few minutes that are remaining, there is the question of December 2012. December, not 2012, December 2022. Question 3B. December 2022, question 3B. Get there, we try to see whether we could have heard of that if it came our way. Now the question says, the banking industry in a given country is controlled by 3 banks, Faida, Akiba, and Ahadi. As at that 1st of December 2020, Faida Bank controlled 30% of the market share, Akiba controlled 50%, and Ahadi controlled 20%. That is as at that 1st of December 2020. Then we are told a survey was conducted on the market shares of the 3 banks as at that 1st of December 2021 and revealed the following. So we are told to get the transition matrix. So the first thing that a candidate required to do was to get the market share as at that 1st December 2020. The market share as at that 1st of December 2020. We have 3 banks here. Kuna mwenye anaitwa Faida. Now Faida, we are told he commanded 30%, so that is 0.3. Huyu mwingine anaitwa Akiba. Akiba commanded 50%, 0.5. Huyu mwingine Ahadi commanded 0.2. So that is our matrix. The current, this is the current state. The current state. Now from there, we need to get the transition matrix. The transition matrix. So the transition matrix, we will have Faida here. We have Akiba. And we have Ahadi. This is Faida. This is Akiba and Ahadi. The transition matrix. So we are told by information 1, Faida Bank had retained 80%. So from Faida to Faida, 0.8. That's retention. And lost 15% and 5% to Akiba and Ahadi. So they lost 0.15 here and 0.05. Remember, we said losses are recorded on the row. And they must always add to 1. So you can see they are adding to 1. Akiba had lost 10% of its market share and 20% to Faida and Ahadi. So Akiba lost 10% to Faida, so 0.1, and lost 20% to Ahadi. So that goes without saying, it must have retained 0.7. It must have retained 0.7 so that they add to 1. And Ahadi had lost 0.5 to Faida, so 0.05 here. And they had lost another 5% to Akiba, 0.05. So that means it must have retained 0.90. It must have retained 90%. So if that is the transition matrix, when you are told to get the market share as at that 1st of December 2021, so the market share as at that 1st of December 2021 is at that 1st of December 2021. What you need to do is what you have been saying. Unachukua the current state here, December 2020, which is 0.3, 0.5, and 0.2. You multiply with the transition matrix, which is 0.8, 0.15, 0.05. 0.1, 0.7, 0.2. 0.05, 0.05, and 0.9. So we just multiply. So chukua calculator. Chukua calculator. Tuseme this times this. So 0.3 times 0.8 plus 0.5 times 0.1 plus 0.2 times 0.05 is 0.3. So that's how we faida. We can label this one. Faida is going to get 0.3. That way, chukua hii multiplied by hii. So 0.3 multiplied by 0.15 plus 0.5 multiplied by 0.7 plus 0.2 multiplied by 0.05. Huyu anaitwa akiba is 0.405. And this other one, who is called ahadi, you can either multiply or subtract from 1. So 1 minus 0.3 minus this other one, I'm getting 0.295. So I think that is okay. That is what we have for 2021. The steady state. So if you are told to get the steady state market share, the steady state shares. Now, in the other question that we have dealt with, nilikuwa nawaambia you say X, Y, Z, but because umejua how to go about it, we normally come straight. Unasema this is X, this is Y, this is 1 minus X minus Y. That way, but hata ukituambia let, like what we did with the other one, no harm. Multiply by the, let me transfer it kuja hapa chini so that I'm able to get enough space for the workings. So this is X, Y, 1 minus X minus Y. When I multiply by the transition matrix, 0.8, 0.1, 0.05, 0.15, 0.7, 0.05, 0.05, 0.2, 0.9 should give me X, Y, 1 minus X minus Y. That is what it should give me. So that is what should give me Let's be fast now, na time yetu imesonga. So we just multiply kawaida. So I'll say 0.8x this plus 0.1y, the whole of this times this, itasema plus 0.05 minus 0.05x minus 0.05y should give me x, this one. Then from there, I put right terms together, 0.8x minus 0.05x minus 1x. Alafu hizi y is 0. So plus 0.1y minus 0.05y is equals to minus 0.05. Minus 0.05. So 0.8 minus 0.05 minus 1 is negative 0.25x. Alafu 0.1 minus 0.05 is plus 0.05y is equals to minus 0.05. And this one we call it equation number 1. Call that equation number 1. From there, you take these ones, multiply here. So you get 0.15x plus 0.7y plus 0.05 minus 0.05x minus 0.05y is equals to y. Sasa, putting items together, I will have 0.15x minus 0.05x, alafu hii plus 0.7y minus 0.05y minus 1y is equals to minus 0.05. So 0.15 minus 0.05 is 0.1 x minus 0.7 minus 0.05 minus 1 is minus 0.35 y. It's minus 0.05, and this is equation number 2. Ukasema ukifika hapo, you say using matrix algebra, to solve. Using matrix algebra to solve, you create the matrices. So nikikuja kwa hii equation, niko na minus 0.25 and 0.05. Alafu nikikuja kwa hii, niko na 0.1 and minus 0.35. Multiply x and y should give us minus 0.05 and another one here minus 0.05. That way. So on solving, nitakuwa na xy hapa. Niachwe na hii minus 0.25, 0.1, 0.05 minus 0.35, na tumesema hii inaingia ikiwa inverse, because it has changed the position to come and multiply minus 0.05 minus 0.05. So from there, I look for the determinant. The determinant, nitachukua hizi major minus 0.25 multiplied by minus 0.35. Then I say minus 0.1 multiplied by 0.05. So when I take my calc times minus 0.25, then I put minus into brackets 0.1 times 0.05. I get 0.0825. 0.0825. My new matrix. My new matrix, tukasema these ones you change the positions so that you have minus 0.35, minus 0.25. Easy, you change the sign so they become negative 0.1 and negative 0.05. So this one proceeds to become xy is equal to 1 out of 0.0825. The new matrix is minus 0.35, minus 0.1, minus 0.05, and minus 0.25. You are multiplying minus 0.05, minus 0.05. So this is 1 out of 0.0825 minus 0.35 times minus 0.05 plus minus 0.05 times minus 0.05. Minus 0.1 multiplied by minus 0.05 plus minus 0.25 multiplied by minus 0.05. When you take your calc, you say minus 0.35 times minus 0.05 plus minus 0.05 times minus 0.05. You divide by 0.0825, 0.2424. So we may multiply mpaka straight. So minus 0.1 times minus 0.05 plus minus 0.25 times minus 0.05. We divide by 0.0825. I'm getting 0.2121. Thus, x is 0.2424. Y is 0.2121. Z is 1 minus 0.2424 minus 2121. Hence, faida ndio ilikuwa ya kwanza, faida which was represented by x. It is commanding 24.24%. Huyu mwingine akiba, who was represented by Y, is going to command 21.21%. And Ahadi, which was represented by Z, is going to command 54.55%. So that is the answer the candidate should have provided to the examiner in that question. On your own, you can attempt this one of November 2018. November 2018, question 2B. Question 2B. And this one of November 2019. November 2019, question, actually you can handle the whole of question 4. So we call it a day at that point. We are through with that topic of matrices. So when we meet in our next lesson, we shall now deal with our last topic, which is called functions. That is what we shall do in our next lesson. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend.